5, 4, 3, 2, 1. As the heel turns. With Goz, Vinny, Dan America, and the Tig Man. The guys this week count down the top 5 wrestlers to not be in the WWE Hall of Fame.
That's right. As the heel turns is back with another edition, and as the voice guy pointed out, it's the top 5 not in the WWE Hall of Fame. And of course, I want to welcome Dan America, the newest member to As the Heel Turns podcast. Man, what's going on?
Well, thank you. Nothing much.
We're happy to have Dan America here. We're going to go through our top 5.
What happened to the other guy?
I think Zach has passed on.
He used to bring beer.
I know, right? No, he's not. What? He's not. Okay, we went on to Denver.
I was
Stan
not aware that I was
Kroenke,
supposed
Vince
to bring
McMahon's
beer.
rival. He's moved on to Denver.
Still alive.
Okay. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, Zach.
Yes, Zach. Hopefully you do very well.
We're going to start with number 5 on my list. We'll go around as we usually do, and you guys hop in whenever you want. Always let us know what you think about our list. You can either comment on this YouTube or this blog, whatever you want to do. You let us know your opinions about this on As the Heel Turns. Top 5, 5th one on my list. This guy's not in the WWE Hall of Fame. He's went by 2 names in the WWE. Both Psycho Sid and Sid Vicious. He's number 5 on my list, and I went back and thought about this. I fought between a lot of different people here for number 5.
Too injury prone.
That's right. He's injury prone.
He snapped his leg in half.
Oh, that thing was insane.
One of the most gruesome accidents ever caught on tape. I think I rewound that 100 times.
I love watching the referee's face.
So that thing's gross, right? And he's terrible on the mic. Remember the famous promo with Jim Ross where he thinks he's live, but he's not?
Let's redo that.
I think I got to go watch that again.
Oh,
because
it's
it was
hysterical.
hilarious.
We're live, pal.
But Psycho Sid's resume, 2-time WCW champion, 2-time WWE champion, NWA champion, and how about this? Twice, he was the main event at WrestleMania.
His only 2 Mania matches.
Think about that. There's not a lot of guys who are non-active wrestlers right now who are not in the Hall of Fame who main evented WrestleMania twice. I think he's got a good enough resume to be in the Hall of Fame.
He better not be in one of the Andre the Giant Battle Royals.
Interesting side note to Psycho Sid there. I heard in a shoot interview, or was it I heard from a fan, that apparently he's not a very nice guy in person. And then, in fact, when you go for a meet and greet with Psycho Sid, there's actually a list of things that you can and cannot do when you meet him. And one of the things that stands out on that list is that he insists that his fans shower or wear deodorant before taking a picture with him.
Oh, man.
Wow.
And I thought that was hilarious myself. And, of course, he can't talk about the leg snapping incident with Sid because he doesn't like to reminisce about that, apparently. And did you know that when he broke his leg in that infamous botch, I wouldn't even call it a botch.
That was his body failing him.
Yeah.
Well, his body botched. I don't know if Sid did. However, there's a moment where the ref comes over and tries to take off the boot for him, and you see him just go, no.
Yeah. By the way, his son is like a reality star now. I don't know if you guys knew that. Like I heard the same thing you heard, Dan America, about like Sid Vicious, Sid Justice, being Psycho Sid, being like a jerk in person. But his son is like Frank Eudy, I think is his last name, like Eudy. He's like a Big Brother character now. Yeah. So.
Does he have his father's hair?
Yeah. He had it like crazy, and then he cut it. So.
See, I say he goes into the Hall of Fame just for having that hair. I'd always want to see a mullet, you know?
Oh.
If Sid had a mullet, he'd look like Brock Sampson.
Tig, who is number 5 on your list?
Number 5 on my list, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky Tonk Man.
He's the honky tonk man.
Right? Come on now. Shake, rattle, and roll. Don't you think Honky Tonk Man's deserving?
Number 6.
Yeah.
Number 6 on my list, by the way.
Easily.
He just lost out to Psycho Sid because he's like the greatest Intercontinental champ of all time. Longest reigning.
And he was such a good heel. You got to think, like, he was main eventing the B shows. So you had like Hogan Savage on one run, all the house shows. The other run, it was Honky Tonk Man. So I'm just saying, like, that just shows.
Had big feuds, too. Remember with Ultimate Warrior?
He did. Mm-hmm. Well, that one didn't last too long.
Well, it didn't last. Maybe it didn't last long, but I mean, he was at the top of the card.
Right.
Very good heel.
The reason I left Honky Tonk Man off is that wrestling, it feels weird in this sense that Would Honky Tonk have been more likely to get in the Hall of Fame if he was like a 9-time Intercontinental Champion compared to the longest reigning? Like, how do you grade that? I feel like he should be recognized more for being the champ for so long.
Especially being a record that still stands.
And he's not on good terms with Vince at this point, right? Hasn't he bashed he's bashed the company on numerous occasions. So,
get Lawler to make up for
one of the more
him.
entertaining wrestlers to listen to in a shoot interview.
Oh, yeah. Great shoot interviews with the Honky Tonk Man. So,
by the way, has anybody heard Honky Tonk's Man theory on why Rick Rude passed away?
What is this? No.
So I think this was in a shoot interview. At least I hope it was Honky Tonk. He had said that the reason he passed away, he had an infection from sticking steroids into his penis.
What?
And he actually had to get his penis removed.
Was it ravishing?
And that it was it was suicide because he didn't have a penis anymore.
That is the most bizarre theory, and I don't even know
what if it's correct.
I
don't know what to make of that. I've never heard that.
Honky Tonk, last time I remember,
very bizarre.
Remember when he was in the Rumble and he came out with the whole thing and Kane got him, right?
That was amazing.
That
was amazing.
Dan America, number 5 on your list.
Number 5 on my list is actually Billy Kidman.
Ooh.
Because
that's different.
Back in the day, during the Monday Night Wars, one of the only reasons that I would tune into WCW Monday Night Nitro was to watch Billy Kidman.
You're winning over guys.
That's right. I liked his in-ring style. I didn't feel that he got too fair of a run when he went to WWE, but when he was in WCW, when their cruiserweight division was taken off, I always waited for Billy Kidman. I loved the 7-year itch. I just felt that he had a very fast but floaty style that really went well in the ring. And I know that he's a part of the production team now.
Ah, that's right.
And I just always enjoyed Billy Kidman, and I felt that since he's not going to go anymore, might as well put him in the Hall of Fame because he is significant because he's a part of the Monday Night Wars, and they don't really have that many flock members in the Hall of Fame, which I think that they should have.
The flock was insane.
There are members in the Hall of Fame?
No, I don't know. But the flock, wasn't the flock just basically a bunch of guys sitting out in the crowd like, all right, this guy's going to wrestle tonight. All right, this guy.
But they're supposed to be in their Ravens group.
Right.
My question is, you wouldn't put Raven in over Kidman?
I give it another year for another while for Raven. I know that does Raven still do indie stuff, or is he just...
The last I saw Raven was when he did that hardcore championship thing for the network.
He looks old, by the way.
He does.
Yeah. He's really old.
Might put Raven in there, but Billy Kidman just stands out a little bit more in my mind than Raven, because although Raven went to all three and it was ECW, WWE, and WCW, I put Billy Kidman in because I feel that Billy Kidman did something a little bit more significant than... Then again, that's hard to say because Raven, his character in ECW was considered to be groundbreaking. But I'd say Billy Kidman because he had that silent charisma.
I feel like Kidman's going to get in at some point because of that connection with the production staff. There's going to be look, you've been here so long, man. You put in the time and effort. We'll toss you in the Hall of
that
Fame.
means that Kidman is kept on good terms with the WWE the whole time.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the things that I was contemplating earlier in the day was if there should be an Owen Hart Award in the WWE for people that, pretty much present themselves in a professional manner inside and outside the ring.
That would be Billy Kidman if they ever had the first Owen Hart Award. I like that. It's very interesting. Vinny, who do you got here on your number 5?
Number 5 on my list, I have a feeling they're not going to get in anytime soon due to the steroid scandal that's going on because they're part of it. Demolition. Axe Smash. He can throw a crush in there, I guess. I don't know. You got to think. Look back to the 80s. They were the dominant team. They were the Legion of Doom of WWF. And the biggest reason I think Demolition should be in, look at the tag teams now. Can you think of any of them that are pure tag teams, that have always been tag teams, that have had multiple successful runs with tag team belts? I look at a team like the New Day. I don't think they should ever win the tag belts again.
They've already done as much as they can with it, right?
They have.
It's not going to help them.
All this exposure nowadays is killing the tag team division. I don't think there's a solid tag team that could even add up to Demolition. I don't think any even could add up to a Hardy Boys. But Demolition, one of the longest reigns ever. Thanks, New Day, for ruining that. Along with the fact they were able to have a 6-year run as a tag team. That is unfathomable in the WWE. and they did it pretty damn well, and they're number 5 on my list.
It's interesting because Tig's pick was Honky Tonk Man. It's very similar, the Demolition idea, because they're the longest reigning at their point of all time. They had a big impact on the business and all those things. We don't see a team like Demolition anymore.
I'd like to interject about Demolition. They did make my list. I will tell you they're number 3 on my list.
Ooh, okay.
3-time WWF Tag Team Champions. You talked about the longest reign up until recently with New Day. As a kid, being a heavy metal guy and all that, the theme song.
Here comes the axe.
Here comes the smash. I mean,
They're
it was
demolition, walking disasters.
I mean, they were great, and they were WWF's answer, of course, to the Legion of Doom over at NWA. Loved the Legion of Doom too, but I always liked Demolition. I had the posters in my room. Loved the look.
They were just so badass, right?
They were
like
badass.
You didn't think anyone could beat him when they stepped inside the ring.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were just awesome.
I liked Demolition, but I have one small piece of criticism about Demolition.
Is it the face paint?
It kind of has something to do with the face paint.
So simple.
It is
Just
not
get a
the-
little bit.
it is not
do it a
all-
little better.
It is not all the face paint. It is Smash in the face paint because he had to paint over his mustache. And what I never understood
Let's
was
look at the Repo
why
Man.
couldn't he just Smash is the Repo Man.
I know. That's why I say he didn't have paint there, so you can see the mustache.
Yeah, but while he was Smashed, would it kill him to shave the mustache? Seriously, he's wearing face paint all the time, and when he comes to the ring, he's wearing a mask over face paint. So this is mask over face paint over mustache. He couldn't have just shaved the mustache once. But seriously, Demolition's awesome.
Got the ladies.
Yeah.
That's such a good point.
I
by the
liked
way.
Repo Man too.
You like Repo Man too?
Dinosaur in the room.
Gotta love Barry Darso. I mean, come on.
I actually
What about the
found
Blacktop
a clip
Bully?
on YouTube.
That was another good one.
I actually found a clip on YouTube
Yeah.
of, man, I think it was a house show. Repo Man comes out and tries to steal the title when Savage is champion.
Yes. Good stuff.
How'd that work out for you, pal?
And let's not forget Crusher Khrushchev was his other
That's
role
right.
that he
Yes,
had.
yes. All right, we're going to go to number 4 on my list here. I don't know where he's going to end up on your guys' list. And the out-of-the-ring controversy, and this is probably going to be the most talked about name we have maybe on this podcast, but I'm trying to do this on who should be in the Hall of Fame resume-wise, what it takes to be a great wrestler when he was in that point. Guys, I got Chris Benoit here at 4.
Oof.
I do, and I know everything that happened.
Somebody dropped the B-bomb.
I know I dropped the B-bomb, but again, this is a guy who won at WrestleMania. This is a guy who's been a multiple-time champion with different belts, different businesses. Is that out-of-the-ring stuff just going to always keep him out? And
Yeah.
did he even make your
Yeah.
guys' top
Yeah.
5?
No.
It's never going to happen. It's just never going to happen. It would look bad on WWE. If
he
they
had-
were to do that, it's just too controversial, that whole situation. And I know there's conspiracy theories out there. I believe he did it, but there's people who believe that he might be innocent.
I think
I don't know.
If Benoit had called it a quits that year and got off the steroids, got off all the drugs, and was able to live the rest of his life, then yeah, hell yeah, he would be in a Hall of Fame. He would be in the Hall of Fame. I think he would have been a first ballot. The man could go in the ring. He's probably one of the best ever. He's got so many accomplishments. He's done so much. But when you are being accused, I'm not going to say he did, but for pretty much everybody thinks he did. When you have that over your head that you killed 3 people, including yourself, there's no place for you. Sadly, because he would deserve it. With that going on, there's no place for him. That's my opinion. I loved him when I was a kid, so.
Dan Mayer, you feel the same way?
I don't like to talk about Benoit too often because
We'll call him Benoit for the circumstances.
I actually grew up on Benoit Drive, by the way. No joke. That's actually the street name I grew up on, yeah.
Oh, wow.
By God, we're on Benoit Drive.
I swear, I won't say the address, but the one quick thing, and I knew I was going to say this at some point during the podcast, it's really hard, I guess, from a sports perspective, 104.5, the team, that you have an idea of like why someone should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't want to compare him to OJ, but I'm going to go compare him to OJ.
It's a good comparison.
But like OJ's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Ty Cobb, he didn't kill anybody, but he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. They were great in their craft. Everything else off the field, yeah, it influenced what happened.
pretty sure Ty Cobb killed a guy.
Maybe, I don't know. He could have. It's a really long time ago, but like if this
OJ
was
got
a-
in before that happened, though.
no doubt, but they could have taken him out. They could have done a bunch of different stuff. It's hard because he has a resume that's deserving to be in the Hall of Fame.
And that's my stance on it, is that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but because of what happened, we're not even supposed to acknowledge his existence.
Right.
Which is why I don't like to talk about it too often. Although, every once in a while I appreciate a good Benoit joke on Facebook if somebody, just throws him in there in a conversation or, all the Benoit posts.
And then everybody else goes, wait, who did you say? I don't see anything there.
Right.
Well, eventually that's what people are going to be saying because, well, on WWE Network, if your WWE Network interface has the option where you can go from match to match, they don't have a little...
That's
almost start and
right.
end
Yes,
thing for
Dan America,
Benoit.
you're right. Yeah.
He's been erased, right? From
Basically,
everything?
you don't see his name.
I mean,
on-
he's on there. You just got to search for it. If you got to know where his match was, you got to know the fact, what pay-per-view, what date, all that stuff, because you can't find it. You can't do a search of him.
It won't say Chris Benoit on the pay-per-views, like Dan America was saying. You got to.
But
really
his
search.
matches are on the full pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Some of the matches, I think the one SummerSlam 04 when Randy won, Randy Orton wins the title is the end. It doesn't say anything about Benoit.
Interesting. Tick, what do you got on number 4 on your list?
Number 4, I've got one of the most popular wrestling tag teams of all time from the WWF days, along with Demolition, the British Bulldogs.
Ooh, nice.
I like that one.
Always was a fan of the British Bulldogs. Matter of fact, I think bringing Matilda out, their bulldog.
You're a mark because you have a bulldog.
I do have a bulldog, and I'm convinced that the British Bulldogs were a reason why I got into the English bulldog breed. I've only owned bulldogs.
Is your bulldog named Davy?
You beat me to it. Oh, it's not. What is it named?
Is it the bulldog reincarnated?
No.
Is that Davy Boy Smith in bulldog form?
No, nothing like that. I just grew a
one of
liking
those.
to the breed.
You should get a cape for him.
His name is Jax.
You should get a cape for him.
Named after the Sons of Anarchy character, because my girl said
You should have named him Dynamite.
But by the way, today is National Puppy Day, so I want to salute my dog Jax.
That's
my English
right. It is
bulldog.
National Puppy Day.
National
By the way,
Puppy Day.
I think you actually intentionally named him Jax.
Really?
Union Jacks, British Bulldog, the English flag. I know what you're
you
doing,
know
Tig.
what? You could be on to something. but does anybody else have the British Bulldogs on their list or agree with that they should be in?
He just missed my list. The bulldog himself.
Dynamite Kid? Come on.
I haven't watched much
agree.
of their stuff, to be honest. I know Dynamite Kid was very good in the ring. He set the standard for a lot of people. Haven't seen many of their matches, and obviously he didn't have much of a career past with Davey. Now, obviously, dude's paralyzed.
Yeah.
But Davey just missed the cut for me, and the reason he missed the cut for me, look back, he was always upper mid-card main event, but never really did much. He had the Intercontinental title run, 2 months. Beyond that, a couple tag team runs with Owen Hart, one with Dynamite Kid, but beyond those things, he never really did a whole lot in WWE. And that's the reason why he can't make it on my list. Is at least the name that I put in his place. He did at least a lot of stuff for another company. Bulldog didn't even do that.
That pop he gets at Wembley Stadium when he wins the IC title.
yeah.
It could arguably be the loudest ovation in wrestling history. That's how awesome that was. I have a theory that the British Bulldogs will eventually get into the Hall of Fame, but they're going to hold off until they actually have a pay-per-view in London or somewhere
Which will probably be soon.
Which could be soon, and they're going to hold them off as the headliner. So I think they deserve to be in, but I know that day's coming down the line.
Well, what is the deal with the Dynamite Kid? I know that some fan, he did something.
Is he still alive? I thought I had read
Yeah.
he is. Okay.
He's still, but
There's some controversy with the Dynamite Kid, isn't there?
yeah,
With the Rougeau brothers.
no, it isn't about that.
Didn't he
is it?
punch out one of the Rougeau brothers?
I think there's more to it. There's something about domestic violence or something.
Oh, I have heard that. Yeah.
Well, didn't was it the Hart family accuse him of?
I believe so.
But that's the interesting part about it, too. We are all huge wrestling fans, and we're all trying to figure out, what did the Dynamite Kid do to get so-and-so mad?
Yeah.
Because there's no committee. There's not hey, these 7 people are going to vote on the Hall of Fame this year, and Dynamite Kid got this person mad, so this person will never vote for the Dynamite Kid. He did something that the WWE doesn't like, so they won't put them in. Which is really isn't that what the Hall of Fame is, and figuring out what gets you in and what keeps you out? Did you piss off the WWE? Oh, you did? You're not going to get in, no matter what it is.
Look how long it took Savage.
Right.
And we don't even know if he did anything.
Yeah. Dan America, number 4 for you.
Number 4 for me is the model Rick Martel.
Ooh.
I like that one.
I like that. Well, I like Rick Martel. I liked his in-ring style.
I loved arrogance.
Oh yeah, the arrogance.
The arrogance in the eyes.
I love the blindfold match
cologne.
with Jake at 7. That's awesome.
He had a good look, but one of the things that always bothers me is how back in the day, how when WCW wrestlers or AWA wrestlers went up in the WWE, they kind of like watered them down because Rick Martel was way better in the ring and he won a lot more. He won titles before he went to WWE. And when he goes to WWE, he's the model. He's got the arrogance spray and all that. And, he really owned his gimmick. But at the same time, I felt that they could have done a lot more with Martel than what they did. And he really slapped down that Boston Crab like a champ.
Right? Like, why couldn't he have been a champion? He had everything. Like, you wanted a good heel. Got reactions out of the crowd. Had the great gimmick. He could go in the ring. He should have been a champ.
Well, there are a couple different ones. Like Paul Roma, when he came up, when he's in WCW, he's a rising star. Comes to WWE, all of a sudden, he ends up in Power and Glory.
Right.
And what happens to Power and Glory? They get squashed in WrestleMania 7, never recover. Poor
Good
Power
point.
and Glory.
Very good point.
Vinny, what do you got for number 4?
Number 4 for me, Big Van Vader. Just Vader.
Ooh.
See, I think he should be getting in this year, sadly. I mean, there's still another week. Maybe they announce it, but, all the news that he's passing away. He doesn't have much longer on this earth. He has done well enough, in my opinion, to get in the Hall of Fame, even if you just had to base it on his WCW stuff, because he didn't do a whole lot when he came to WWE. He had some pretty notable matches, but he just never really did a whole lot. But in WCW, he was a wrecking ball. You could not stop him. His matches with Ron Simmons, with Sting, with Flair. Easily a Hall of Famer, in my opinion, especially when you look back at some of the people who are in the Hall of Fame. How do you have a Coco B. Warren and not a Big Van Vader?
Right. And then Vader has this factor where it's basically, if you don't watch wrestling, it's okay, what would a wrestler look like who's a professional wrestler?
You're going to think of somebody like Vader.
Vader, like a 400-pounder with a mask on who could move around. Like that's wrestling. That should be what people think about. And he did it.
And he had one of the best debuts ever in WWE as far as the Gorilla Monsoon stuff. I mean, he was in the Rumble the night before, but that Gorilla Monsoon angle, instant heat with the fans. That's a very good way to debut somebody.
All right, I'm going to move on to number 3 unless anyone else wants to say something about Vader.
Do you guys agree Vader should be in?
Oh, yeah, I agree that Vader should be in him.
Not on my list, though. Here's why. I'm going to number 3. Oh, go ahead, Tig.
Oh, I wanted to go back to, if we could, real quick with Rick Martel.
Yes.
Let's not forget the Can-Am connection.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
It was him and Tom Zank. Who
Okay.
Tom Zank ended up doing some work in WCW.
Z-Man.
But the Z-Man. But they were pretty popular for a while as a tag team.
Yeah.
So, but I never, never was really.
Didn't he
They were
win-
the pretty boys.
Yeah.
All the girls went crazy over
Wasn't
them.
it him that won the tag belts with, or was this Barry Windham, Rotundo in 85? Or was that Windham?
That was Wyndham and Rotundo.
Okay.
They were the U.S. Express.
Yep.
Back in the day.
I love that one. Wyndham Rotunda. You guys said it together. That's Bray Wyatt's real name, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, you guys said it together.
God
so it threw
knows
me
one
off.
fact and he tells everybody.
Wait, hang on. I said that on the show the other day. I got mocked on 104.5, the team. I get embraced by you guys here on As the Heel Turns.
Still the only thing you know.
Oh, I know everything, according to me. Number 3 on my list here, China. I know China. That was the late China.
Say it like Donald Trump.
China's huge. Love her. The best wrestler ever. Wonderful. China, I have at number 3. She was great. Intercontinental champion. She dominated the women's division. If you put her in the ring with somebody right now, even the Charlottes, the Sasha Bankses, the Becky Lynches, she can still go. She was a different breed. I think China's a Hall of Famer.
And why is she getting snubbed over somebody like Beth Phoenix? I'm sorry, I want to rant here. Beth Phoenix should not be getting in the Hall of Fame.
Well, what do you have against Beth Phoenix?
Look, okay, first off, you're going to put Beth Phoenix in before you put a China, before a Sable, before anybody.
You see, I can argue this because I never really liked Sable.
But she left a big impact on the business.
Yes, she did, and they were both D cups, but
Jesus.
I don't go in for if a female wrestler is attractive, I don't base my appreciation of them solely on the way that they look. And that's why I'm not going to argue about Beth Phoenix going in, because I'm not really attracted to blonde bodybuilder types. And,
there are people that are. Edge.
Yeah, although she probably makes Edge very happy, I think I'm not very attracted to Beth Phoenix, although there are people that probably. I'm not saying that she's ugly, Dan.
Dominate me.
Anyway,
You glamazon you.
I liked her in the ring. I think that Beth Phoenix could have taken China, and I think that she deserves to go in over people like Sable, because what did Sable really do?
Okay.
Sable had what? Luna job to her. Sable had Jackie job to her.
What about Ivory?
She had Ivory job to her. Everyone that Sable was like Cena before Cena.
Well, I mean, like, you would put Beth Phoenix in over Ivory, because that I would not.
I would put Beth Phoenix in over Ivory, because what did Ivory really do? She was right to censor. She
multiple
comes out.
multiple women's championships.
Let's go back to the point you had. You thought Beth Phoenix could beat China. I always felt like Beth Phoenix was China light, like
Right.
a bodybuilder
Yeah.
type who won the title.
Well, what did China really do in the ring?
She beat Jeff Jarrett for the IC title. She dominated the
I know,
women's
but-
division so much that they couldn't have her
Two
wrestle
Royal Rumble
women
match-
anymore.
two Royal
But
Rumble
I'm talking
matches.
moveset wise.
Pedigree,
But she's not going to do
DDT.
Hurricane Ranas. I mean, she's going to
Ball
do body
slap.
slams and stuff.
She
Ball
does
slap.
she does this flashy cartwheel backspring thing across the ring, and that's supposed to distract us from the point that it's a match that consists of rest holds and gymnastics.
She's a dominant force. Like, there's a believability factor in China. If you didn't, the ninth wonder of the world, if she's in the ring right now with Sasha Banks, like, I know they're trying to do it like Nia Jax right now, like, people think China would crush anybody she'd go against, including men.
Well,
What about Karma?
Karma, she was more of an athlete than Karma, though.
Well, I'll tell you why China won't go into the WWE Hall of Fame, and I'll say it right here in this statement: backdoor to China. Okay, clearly they frown upon that, don't they? And I think
Yes.
with
Yes.
making that porno movie, that's gonna keep her out. She's blacklisted, unfortunately.
Well, she didn't just make one porno movie.
It's adult entertainment. And by the way, it was a nice movie, I thought. I thought they did a nice job with the editing. I thought they did overall, I thought they did a nice job.
How was the lighting? Was
Right,
the
it
lighting
was.
good?
It was. The lighting was fine.
good?
Cinematography was wonderful.
I've perused the catalog a few times.
Right.
Oh man.
Take number 3 on your list.
Well, breeze right through me because
Oh,
number
that's right.
three,
You
I
had 3 Demolition. Dan America, number 3.
Number 3 on my list is Bam Bam.
Oh, I love me some Bam Bam.
Great Bam Bam Bigelow.
Bam, indeed. I love Bam Bam because Bam Bam was like, when you, like you said about Vader, when you think of professional wrestler, what they should look like, there's Vader, and then there's Bam
I
Bam.
don't know if I picture head tattoos, but
Oh, come on. Of course you picture head tattoos. Bam Bam looks like he fell out of some, like, biker gang circus wagon and into a wrestling ring. And he even had, like, the clothes to go with it. But now, I forget which Survivor Series it was. I think it was Survivor Series 2. Bam Bam pretty much, like, fights off the entire Andre Ted DiBiase team. And then Hogan comes out in the end and interferes and screws it up for Bam Bam. And then Jesse Ventura starts flipping out because the crowd is cheering Hogan, although Hogan came in and interfered and helped the other team win the match. But they're playing Hogan's music. But that's besides the point. Bam Bam's in WCW, Bam Bam's in ECW, Bam Bam does indie shows, and he's Bam Bam. I've never seen a moveset on a big guy like there is on Bam Bam.
What an agile guy for how much did he weigh?
It's gotta be 4 bills, right?
Yeah. I was happy to see Bam Bam at WrestleMania 11, Hartford, Connecticut, when he fought Lawrence Taylor.
in the main event.
In the main
LT in the main event.
That was a lot of fun.
In a pre-Dan America podcast, we did a podcast about the top 5 wrestlers never to be WWE champion, and Bam Bam was on my list for a lot of the reasons you said. Tig brought it up there in the main event. I like Bam Bam over Vader if I had to pick the big guy who I'd like more because of what Tig said there and agree with him. The moveset, like, this dude was an athlete.
he could do a moonsault that
You
way.
could do Bam Bam, like Braun Strowman. I know we're going quickly back to like new school stuff, but like imagine you had Bam Bam in 2017. I feel like the internet would love Bam Bam. Bam Bam would be pushed. He's like a combination somewhere between like Kevin Owens and Braun Strowman, like a beast, but also an athlete at his size.
And remember, Bam Bam is in major pain.
That's right.
Yes. Let's not forget that.
All right,
three for
number
you,
3
Vinny.
for me. This is one that when I was doing my research, I'm like, wow, they're not in. Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, okay.
For what she did, she revolutionized the way women are seen in wrestling. Before Miss Elizabeth, it was Fabulous Moolah. It was people like her, Mae Young. And once Miss Elizabeth came in, like, man, she's hot. Yeah. She was part of one of the biggest storylines ever, the Savage Hogan storyline going into WrestleMania 5.
See, I always thought Mae Young was hot. So.
Oh, Jesus, Tig.
Tig, how old are you?
I did call him a dinosaur.
Remember when she showed
I
her
remember
puppies?
that. They
I mean,
do.
come on.
That is not on the WWE Network, thank goodness. They actually edited that down.
Yeah, you will not see that again. I remember how shocked I was.
I
as
was
a young
too.
kid.
Oh,
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
Are you kidding me?
I'd seen Sable's like little painted on things like
Yeah.
months before, and then I saw Mae Young's. I'm like,
Yeah.
maybe I don't want to grow up. I mean, is that how bad it's going to be?
But no, Miss Elizabeth, she set a trend for a lot of the divas and the women wrestlers in WWE. Sadly, we lost her at the age of 42. Thanks, Lex Luger. He is not on my list. He does not deserve to be in the Hall of Fame.
Now, his opinion isn't quite the opinion of the rest of the staff here.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
As the heel turns. We just got to get that out there.
We do not reflect the opinions of
No,
any
Miss
heel turns.
Liz, I think should easily be in. There were so many people, like I said, that shouldn't be in, and Miss Elizabeth getting snubbed. I just don't understand it. I don't know where she left WWE on bad terms. I don't get it.
She's not in, but Sensational Sherry and Sunny are both in, right?
Exactly. I mean, I agree with at least Sherry being in. I don't know about Sonny.
What's hard about the manager spot is that isn't the manager's career almost reflected by the people they managed? Like, what if Miss Elizabeth
She managed stars.
Right, but what if she's not with Macho? Did that make her a better or worse manager? That's what's tough about this one to grab a hold of is that, like, I know Jimmy Hart's entertaining. I know Paul Heyman's entertaining. I know Bobby the Brain Heenan's entertaining. Was Miss Elizabeth entertaining? Or was she just hot? Like, that's what's tough for me in her spot.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question.
That is a good question. Good point there.
What did Liz really do when she was there?
That we saw on television. I don't know what she did backstage. I don't want to find out.
No, not.
I
You
do.
know what I'm talking about. What did Liz really do ringside other than sometimes when Randy went down, she would go and check on Randy and cry a little bit?
I just think the one of the biggest feuds and best feuds the company ever did. She was such an integral part of it, and that was when she wasn't managing. She was in between Hogan and Savage. Without her, that feud would have been totally different, and that's one of the best feuds WWE's ever done.
How about George the Animal Steel?
Oh, biting the ring post.
Exactly,
Crazy man.
exactly.
And he had the love affair for Liz all that time. That was a good storyline.
We're down to our top two now. Now, I'm going old school with this one. I think Tig might like this one the best here. Number 2 on my list of people who should be in the Hall of Fame.
Was it Frank Gotch?
I don't think this guy's in the Hall of Fame. He should be in the Hall of Fame because he had arguably the greatest rivalry in professional wrestling history. Number 2 on my list, Andy Kaufman. Think
That's
about
actually-
Andy
yeah.
Kaufman, right?
Yeah,
Celebrity
wing.
Celebrity
of the
wing,
ring, right?
Jerry the King Lawler, the feud they have on the David Letterman show. Kaufman actually used to go to Memphis and like do spots. He was an actor. He did it. He took wrestling. When you think about this was pre-WrestleMania. He took it to the mainstream. What more would we want out of a great heel than what Andy Kaufman did? I think we got to think about Andy Kaufman in the Hall of Fame.
I don't even know if you would put him in a celebrity wing because he was so much in the wrestling part, but how, like, you look at it, look at the celebrity ring and Andy Kaufman, who pretty much loved wrestling, and I had heard he didn't cash any of his checks.
Didn't catch a single check. I heard the same thing.
How can that dude not be in the Hall of Fame? Is it because he wasn't part of WWE?
I don't know why they didn't do it. I don't know if they just don't have a representative.
Vince
Maybe-
Sr. turned down the offer. He wanted to do what he did with Lawler in New York.
Oh, that would have been insane. Maybe Andy Kaufman's still alive. That's a possibility. That's a rumor out there on the internet still. That he's
That's
actually alive.
yeah. Well,
You think that Andy Kaufman is out there petitioning from not to be inducted into the Hall of Fame?
He's keeping himself out of the
what's
Hall
he
of Fame.
carry? He's
That
not going to
wouldn't
cash the
surprise
check.
me.
He's coming out of WrestleMania this year, going full heel mode on somebody. 2 for you, Tig. Who's on your list?
Number 2 is one of the most popular characters that come out of the 80s in the whole WWF scene, weighing in at around 440 pounds from Atlantic City, New Jersey, King Kong Bundy.
Okay, yeah.
He's not in?
He was a member of the Heenan family. No, he's not in. He was a member of the Heenan family. Fought Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 2 in the steel cage match for the championship. A one-time Slammy Award winner. He won the Tones on the Throne Award for passing gas while on the toilet.
Oh, yeah.
King Kong Bundy is just one of those figures from the 80s that you recognize. You see this guy out in his black, what would that be, a singlet?
Yeah, singlet,
In
I'd say.
the black singlet, you recognize King Kong Bundy. I mean,
He passed such gas he can be in the Hall of Fame.
He main
Put me
evented-
in, please.
He technically main evented WrestleMania, sort of, right? Wasn't that the one where everything was moving around a bit at that one main?
He's in with Hogan, so I mean that counts.
Right.
As a main
well,
event.
WrestleMania 2 with Hogan, he also fought The Undertaker
That's right. Yes.
I don't remember which one that was.
That was
I think
11.
It was WrestleMania.
Was that 11?
9.
That was 11.
No.
Was that 11? That was the one I was at in
That was
Connecticut?
11. Yeah, that was the
Might have
night.
been.
That was the night Lawrence Taylor. Yeah,
He didn't.
9
by
was
the way,
Gonzalez.
Oh, yeah. That was.
Undertaker won, but he didn't tombstone King Kong Bundy, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
He did pick him up and body slam him, but I think
King
he got
Kong
him with
Bundy
the
was
clothes.
You think he
awesome.
wanted that
Right?
for
He
Monday
was
cheese
so
in his
He was
face?
big.
awesome. And he's still around. He is he'll show up every now and then. You'll see him at an independent show signing autographs, but King Kong Bundy is my number 2.
Like why did King Kong Bundy? Because they put a lot of the older wrestlers in it at some point. Like we're talking like early 2000s. Like we saw the Iron Sheik get in. I think Hacksaw Jim Duggan's in. They have a bunch of these guys who were from that era that are in, but somehow King Kong Bundy got left out.
Yeah, I
it's
don't
strange.
know how he's not in there. Dan, you want?
Yeah, and who's number 2 on your list, my man?
My number 2 is Haku.
Haku is number 2 on your list.
His list is totally different than ours.
Yeah.
I like Haku because did you know that backstage, like he was the baddest.
Like the
Oh, yeah.
craziest dude on planet
he
Earth.
was the toughest
Yeah.
of the tough, the craziest. Not only that, you could see the in-ring style. I love it when a guy walks into the ring and you could tell he's just kind of like urging the other guy, come on, hit me, really hit me. And I go back and I watch Haku's matches, and that's what I see for him trying to push the younger talent to really hit him, to take your bumps. And he always took his bumps, and that's one of the things that I appreciate in a wrestler is someone that goes in there and does their job and entertains, which is why I'm always on the fence about, the whole Benoit thing. But I also love it when the guys go in there and they push the talent that they're paired up against. Haku did that, and you could just see how tough the guy was. Guy took some insane bumps when he was in there. I'm not talking like big OMG bumps. I'm talking about just like straight punches or a headbutt. Or you ever see Haku take a pile driver? They were literally bouncing him off of his head.
I got to tell a quick funny story about Haku, King Haku.
Yes, King Haku.
I was such a mark as a kid. My family went to Action Park in New Jersey, right? I've never told this story before. We were all going to Action Park.
Did you get sodomized?
No. It was a Saturday morning. We were all going to Action Park. I legit stayed home and said I didn't feel well because I wanted to stay and see who was going to be crowned the king. After Harley Race had to give up the crown.
Wow.
And it turned out to be King Haku. And so I stayed home from the family trip. I had a stomach ache, is what I said. Just to watch the WWF program, and then I saw it was King Haku. I said, why did I stay home for this? Well, true story.
I remember Haku is Ming in WCW.
Yes.
And I remember, this was like the first moment. It's another Haku story. Everyone's got a Haku story, I guess. I remember Ming in WCW as a kid thinking, like, I never want to get anywhere close to this guy. And how they, like, sold Ming, I guess it's the first time in my mind realizing, like, what it means to sell a wrestler and, like, what it means to be a badass and, like, the push, all that stuff I started to realize. Because he had that move. It was called, like, the claw or something.
Yeah.
Like, whatever that move was, if you got close to it, you were done. Like, that was like, no one gets away from Ming's claw. I'm like, I didn't get why Ming wasn't Goldberg at one point because he was a badass. Goldberg was a badass, and it just never clicked. But he was really even cool when he was Ming in WCW.
He's been known to be a badass too in the locker room, right? Everybody says he's one of the toughest wrestlers out there.
Yeah.
He'll kick anybody's ass.
Vinny, number 2 for you.
Number 2. I'm sure that this, even though there's only one remaining past me, I'm sure this is going to be on somebody's list. Owen Hart. Owen Hart.
I thought about that.
That's my number 1.
There it is.
Oh, wow.
You and Dan America got the 2 and 1 here.
Owen, you know what?
I have to change my
Owen
number 1 now.
was so good in the ring. The gimmick with the blue blazer, so comedic. And he would either make you love him or you wanted to beat the crap out of him. He was so good in both roles, heel, face. He did such a good job no matter what you put him in. He could have been a champion. He could have been a heavyweight champion. He could have had another feud with Austin later in 99 and became champion. Nobody would have been upset. The relation with the Hart Foundation, the Harts, I mean, obviously he's got the lineage. He could put on amazing matches. His WrestleMania 10 match, the opener of the night with Brett, that match is still one of the best I've ever seen. I don't know. I don't know why. I mean, I know why he's not in yet. He will be in eventually. There's no doubt in my mind. It's because of his wife being bitter. But no doubt in my mind, Owen Hart, future Hall of Famer. Just kind of wait until his wife finally pulls whatever it is out of her butt.
Yeah, right. Dan America, you got him
I
at
don't
one.
want to say the A word.
You got him at number 1 for the same reasons?
Yeah, for the same reasons. And like I always tell people, Owen Hart was my first favorite wrestler. I was watching a pirated copy of WrestleMania 5 on VHS. And it's the one where 5. And that's, Mega Powers Collide, but in that is Blue Blazer versus Kurt Hennig. I was rooting for the Blue Blazer, and he loses, and my brother makes fun of me. And then later on, he comes out as the Rocket Owen Hart, and I automatically knew, that was the guy that was the Blue Blazer. I loved him. I loved his ring work. Everything Owen did in the ring I thought was brilliant. And that was the first time I saw someone escape a arm wrench by flipping and stuff. He would walk up the ropes, he would bounce off the ropes. And to this day, I still say no one does a spinning heel kick like Owen Hart. And I think that Owen did a better sharpshooter than Brett. And just the combination of technical and high flying, and well, he was a Hart, and the Owen outside the ring that Joey's here.
Well, that's the interesting part there, because Tig knows this, and so does Vinny. We brought up Owen before on another podcast, and I don't want to call it disdain, but I guess for me, Owen feels almost overrated because of the Hart factor in it. That if his name is Owen Daniels, is he still perceived as Owen Hart? Like, how much did that last name push Owen Hart? Would he have been, like, say you're great in the ring, but you don't have something else? Was being Brett's brother
it was kind
help?
of put to the test during the Attitude Era, because Brett leaves, eventually Jim leaves, British Bulldog leaves, and Owen is the only one there. And that was him trying to prove that it's not that he's just a Hart, it's that he's there in the WWE, and that's loyalty as well. And he definitely, in my mind, proved that he could stand on his own 2 feet, away from his family, away from his lineage. And then he ends up, going and hanging out with Jeff Jarrett and doing the Blue Blazer gimmick, and that was terrible.
All right, so here we go to number 1. Everyone's got their number 1 on the way next. I'm going to start with my number 1. My number 1 on my list is the guy who's running the show, Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
My man!
Vincent
Number 1
Kennedy
for me, too.
McMahon is number 1 on my list, and the reason why, what are we going to do, wait until he's dead? Like, he's not on TV anymore.
That's his call, though.
Right? He wants to be in the Hall of Fame. This is his baby, the WWE.
He's too busy crashing his Bentley.
Right. Right. Sure, he's too busy getting in car accidents.
I had
Just
said
put
to
him
Tig,
in.
if you were the one that crashed into his car and he gets out and starts going on a rant on you, wouldn't you be sitting there smiling, marking out?
No doubt. No, it would almost be a compliment that it happened. So I don't think I have to even go through the list of why Vince McMahon should be in the Hall of Fame. Vince McMahon doesn't have to wait until he's dead. He doesn't have to do that. Put him in. Like, we're all going to celebrate. He should be the headliner. And if they want, do it as a surprise. Like, have him not know about it.
The wrestling business would not be what it is now without Vince McMahon. And that's why he's number 1 on my list as well. There's never going to be another one like him, so...
All right, number 1 on my list is the other guy running the show, Triple H.
Oh, Triple H is number 1.
He'll be in eventually.
Yeah, he's running the show too. How many times has he held the championship?
14
15 times. He's had the Intercontinental title. I think Triple H deserves to be in there. Will he go in someday? I absolutely think so. I also think Vince will go in.
Yeah, he's technically Triple H is kind of like off the active roster, but sort of active in the same way. So I can see where that. And your number 1 again was Owen Hart, right?
And that's honest. I wanted to also say the reason I wouldn't put Triple H on is because he's kind of active. Same with like The Rock or Undertaker, Jericho, Goldberg. I think they'll all be in eventually. It's just that they're semi-active or they're full-on active. So I don't.
Does becoming a Hall of Fame legend mean that you can't wrestle in WWE anymore?
No. I don't think so.
I think your inclusion has to be that almost you're like removed from storylines. Maybe that's a better way to put it, rather than non-active. Because like, what if you're wrestling for like, some local elementary school somewhere?
Yeah, and you gotta give like a speech and everything, and that breaks kayfabe.
Yeah, all that. Let's recap our top 5s again. I'm going to go first. We'll go left to right here. My top 5 again was 5 with Psycho Sid Vicious, 4 Chris Benoit, 3 Chyna, 2 Andy Kaufman, and 1 Vince McMahon.
My number 5 is Honky Tonk Man. Number 4, the British Bulldogs. Number 3, Demolition. Number 2, King Kong Bundy. Number 1, Triple H. Dan America?
Excuse me. Mine was number 5, Billy Kidman. Number 4, Rick Martel. 3, Bam Bam Bigelow. 2, Haku. And number 1, Owen Hart.
And for me, number 5, Demolition. Number 4, Vader. Number 3, Miss Elizabeth. Number 2, Owen Hart. And number 1, Vinnie Mac, V-Cam.
So we're going to add this now to the end. It's the Heel Turns podcast. Usually this is when we'd sign off, but we got something new to add. Dan America's going to toss it up to us, the heel face segment.
Yep, heel and face. It's pretty much a thumbs up, thumbs down lightning round. You say face if you like something, heel if you don't like something. And now we're on
This works well with as the heel turns.
Oh,
just
I
saying.
like that. Yeah.
So, what are we going to do here? Road to WrestleMania? What's going on?
Let's do it.
Let's do some of the feuds.
All right. Some of the feuds. I'll start us off. I was wrong about the Jericho Owens thing. I went on the internet and said that they're probably not going to do it, but I like where they're going with Jericho Owens. I'm going to give it a face. I think it's turning into a beautiful feud.
I will also agree myself. That is face. Owens, Jericho, two of the best workers in the company. Yeah, definitely face.
I was so nervous about it, but I watched it actually today when I was supposed to be prepping for my own show with Levac, watching the real Kevin Owens stuff, which, like, when you can bring some real stuff into a storyline, like the Twitter direct messages, and when you're a kid and you're wearing the Jericho shirt and you're Kevin Owens, that is face all day. It's a really cool feud now.
I'll give it a face, too. I think it's interesting to see where they're going with that.
I think we all like KO.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's just stick to Raw for now. Okay, this tag team thing that's going on with Raw, I'm going to give it a heel just because I think that they don't know what to do with all of their tag teams on Raw, and that is why we're going to see a triple threat tag team match at WrestleMania.
I also will say heel. You want to legitimize Enzo and Cass, make it a one-on-one match, put it on the main card, not the pre-show. Sheamus and Cesaro, while I'd like to see both of them in a match like this, it is time for Enzo and Cass. Heel on it being a triple threat match.
I'm fighting back and forth on this, but I think I'm leaning face, and here's why. Who do you push to the roof here? Like, who gets is Enzo and Cass, can you do it in 2 years? I mean, they really weren't even on the roster a year ago. Can't you wait another WrestleMania? Do you split up Cesaro and Sheamus eventually? Is this the time where Gallows and Anderson go to the next level? I'm kind of leaning towards yes, because you don't want to push somebody quite yet next to the New Day level. So I'm actually okay with it.
I'm going to go heel. I'm all triple matched out. I've had enough of the triple threat matches.
Okay, then what do you think about the fatal four-way match for the women's title on Raw? This one, I'm going to give it a face because I like the work that the women on Raw put in. I've been saying for a while now, why isn't Nia Jax in the title picture? Now she is. Don't think that Sasha Banks should be there. Maybe they should have added Dana Brooke. Where's Emma? But I'm giving the title match at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title a face just because I like the work that the ladies put in.
See, that's where I struggle because one, we've seen Bayley and Charlotte already enough times, so no, they couldn't just go straight up Bayley and Charlotte. Charlotte deserves to be in that match. There's the problem. So they have to add some other fluff. Now, Nia Jax, I think she's the oddball out when it comes to it because I don't think she's as good in the ring as the others. Not that she's bad. It is so hard. I'm going to give it a heel because I just don't like the fact that it's going to be a fatal four-way. They're always clunkier matches. I feel like a one-on-one match, even if you did Bayley and Nia, I think just a one-on-one match could be better than a fatal four-way. I don't see what it brings.
Why didn't they just flop Becky Lynch and Nia Jax? Like, we saw it last year. They hyped it up like the girls of NXT. They revolutionized women's wrestling. Here are the 4 horsewomen, but we're going to have 3 and then a random one in here. Like, just flop it for Mania. Just put Becky Lynch in there and find out who's the best. I feel like I already know what's going to happen in this match. Charlotte is going to win back the title, but pin Nia Jax. Make Charlotte look. So I'm going to
go Bayley's going to win
for this match. Sasha Banks is going to turn on Bayley at a key moment in the match, costing Bayley the title. I just haven't decided who capitalizes on Sasha Banks' heel turn, Nia Jax or Charlotte.
All right, I'm going heel, by the way. I didn't toss it in, but that's an interesting theory there.
It's just my theory. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Sasha Banks is going to be heel the Monday after WrestleMania.
I'm going heel. I'm like I said, I'm all triple threat matched out. I'm also
Quadruple,
fatal four-way out. I like one-on-one action. Too much information.
I would take a fatal four-way with those ladies. Even Nia, she's cute.
All right, let's go to the one-on-ones now. All right, we got Taker Reigns. I am giving this one a heel because I am sick of Taker getting like the flavor of the week opponents. This is what it's been like for the past 4 years. They just keep on giving Taker whoever's buzzworthy, and Roman Reigns is the ultimate of buzzworthy, and I don't think that this is the proper way to turn Roman heel or put Roman over with the fans by putting him up against Taker. Roman could have kept going with Braun and give Taker an opponent that would be epic. I don't like it that they're just pushing Roman Reigns into the Taker picture. I hope Taker wins. I'm so afraid that he's not, and I'm giving Roman Taker a heel, although I don't mind watching it. And
the wrestling fan will convince you at the end, right?
Yeah. I suppose this is going to be my smart heel, let's say, because I'm just disliking it to dislike it because I'm a wrestling fan and I have an opinion.
On the topic, I'm going face, and I'm saying face because last week on Raw, just seeing Roman being that arrogant star, seeing Taker come out week in and week out and antagonize Reigns. There's something about the match now for some reason that I am liking, and whether it's the fact that I know Roman is better in the ring now than he was this time last year, better on the mic, the fact that maybe this could be his time to turn heel. I think the ultimate way to turn heel is to beat The Undertaker and then say F off to the fans. I think that's a good way to do it. I'm going face. I'm actually a little interested to see this match at Mania.
Having Roman defeat Undertaker at WrestleMania saying F off to the fans?
Exactly, but if he turns heel afterward...
He's saying F off to the fans.
But if he turns heel afterward, I think Roman... You got to think, when Cena got pushed, in his first 2.5 years in the company, there was a gap of like 3 months that he did not hold the belt. Reigns is not getting pushed like Cena was.
I don't watch John Cena matches. I'm a wrestling fan.
But that's just my point. Wrestling fans are so upset about, he's Cena 2.0. Cena didn't hold the belt for 3 months over a 2.5 year span. Reigns hasn't had the belt since June.
You know, it's interesting. Tig and I have become like the Undertaker haters on the podcast.
Yeah.
Like anytime Taker's brought up, so I'm going heel as well. I'm more for the fact that there's going to hit a point. I don't know when it's going to be. I thought it'd be now by now.
I think it is going to be now.
But people look at Taker and are like, dude, he looks old. Like, it's just like, there's a believability. This isn't the Taker we saw 20 years ago.
No,
when do the
definitely
wrestling fans eventually, and I get what it is, if you're there at the event and you see Taker, it's really cool. Like, it still has that moment. But if we're all watching home, we're like, dude, you got to get the old guy out of the ring.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't work anymore. So I'm going heel with this. And it should have been a heel like 4 years ago, no matter who he was wrestling.
I'm going to go heel, exactly what you said, guys. And what happens if Roman Reigns beats Undertaker at Mania and says F you to the crowd? You think the WWE Universe might screw with him and start cheering him?
Yeah, they probably will.
I mean,
Thank God you got rid of that old man.
Yeah,
you put him out
right?
to pasture.
So, they might shoot themselves in the foot by having Reigns beat the
It'd
Undertaker.
still be the same situation they have now, though.
Yeah.
All right, now let's do something that the WWE doesn't do all the time and save the main titles for last. All right, let's jump over to SmackDown. Let's start with what is going on with the SmackDown Tag Championships anyway?
I haven't even watched the match yet. I saw online. I'm like, what
okay, then I'll fill you in. Usos
I know what happened.
champion.
I saw that part.
Now, are they going to face American Alpha at Mania?
And if so, why did you pull the belts off Alpha?
Yeah, either way, if that is the case, I'm going to give it a face because when I watched SmackDown this past Tuesday, I was really into that match. They were having a good old-fashioned slobber knocker. And then SmackDown, of course, ruined it with an hour's worth of Cena Miz garbage. But I'm giving the tag team picture on SmackDown a face. I think that SmackDown uses their tag team division a lot better than Raw, giving this a face.
I'm giving it a face because I have absolute faith that SmackDown's going to do the right thing. They have been for the past however many months. Do I know where it's going? No, but that's actually not a bad thing.
Here's why I'm giving it a heel, because I don't know if the wrestling fans, even like the diehards like us, are invested into that tag team match. Like, there has to be a point where you're like, man, I really want to watch the Usos and Alpha. That's just not there. Like, the Usos working as a heel is pretty good. And, like, I think they're doing a really nice job with that. But what they didn't do with Alpha, which really frustrates me, is that they were really funny in NXT. When they would do, like, the things with Enzo and Cass, and they'd be, like, goofballs, like, they were entertaining. That's why people attached to American Alpha.
They didn't get that chance.
They didn't
on
get
the big
it.
stage.
No, and I don't know if it's like someone like Triple H got in there and like, look, you got to be serious if you want to get a push here. Like, you can't do the gimmicky comedy act. And that changed them. I think they lost a connection with the crowd because of them changing the like ultra Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas gimmick, whatever they're doing now.
I'll go face because I'm not a big American Alpha fan. I do, and I like the Usos' new look and attitude. And
I agree. I
think
do
it's
like their look as well.
Kind of cool to see them with the belts here.
Okay, now, Tig, you're really going to hate this next one.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk SmackDown Women's Title. It is
If
Alexa.
you saw Zach By here, Zach By probably would have left right now.
Yeah, because he's going to accuse me of jerking off to old divas bra and panty matches, which I did, but who hasn't?
Well, then I don't know how you're going to make it through the SmackDown's Alexa Bliss versus everyone. So does that mean it's kind of like a Alexa Bliss it's a family program, and I don't think I should use the word gangbang, but I just
You just did. I'm a little too old to be turned on by women in clothes.
But I'm going to give the SmackDown Alexa Bliss versus everyone. I'm going to give it a face just because those girls look pretty good in their outfits. I like it when they move around in them, especially when they move around in them.
Oh, boy.
And, Mickie James, still pretty foxy. So I'm going to give this women's championship match a face.
I'm going to give it a face, too. Now, did I miss anything on SmackDown with a new diva added to the match?
Not that I know of.
Okay, so one thing, they pretty much did a match, every woman on the roster, at the TU this past weekend. And there was another woman in that match that has not been on TV in quite some time. And that would be Tamina Snuka.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, personally, I like that because she needs to be on a brand where they can do something with her. She can't be buried on Raw. I'm going to give it a face because, you know what? I have no clue who's going to win this match. Absolutely no clue who's going to win. And I like that.
Face for now, and I think it's going to be Natty Neidhart. She gets her WrestleMania moment. She takes down one of the younger people. She gets to retire and go off with Tyson Kidd, do her thing. Even though she told me she's never going to retire. Give it to Natty Neidhart. She's been around too long. Natalia, whatever you want to call her.
She does deserve it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, you guys.
I'm just going to give it a face.
Just because of Becky Lynch.
Well, no, because of Alexa Bliss.
Give them. They can both get faced.
Okay.
All right.
Makes no sense, but whatever.
Now let me tell you why I give that Natty winning the title a heel.
Fart gimmick.
Because I believe that if Natty wins the title at WrestleMania, they're going to have her drop the belt to Nikki Bella. So, and let's get into this right now. Okay, Miz and Maurice versus Nikki Bella and John Cena. I'm giving it a heel. This is my go pee-pee match. This is my go have a cigarette match if I'm somewhere where they're smoking. I'm sorry, I do not like reality star wrestlers. I don't like people who blatantly show you that wrestling is fake sometimes, which Cena does every freaking match. I mean...
Backdrop!
Yeah.
Which Cena does every match. I believe that The Miz is not really that good on the mic, and that his mic skills is the equivalent to a over-dramatic theater person.
Gozosaurus Rex is getting fired up.
Theater person. Nikki Bella cannot wrestle. Nikki Bella is just a reality star. And what's The Miz's wife's name there?
Maurice.
Blonde Mop, Maurice,
don't
whatever.
Do that. No.
Frenchie, this is America,
Guys,
Frenchie.
let me take this and we'll go to you because this is, I got your opinion.
Go ahead, Vinny. You want me to go first?
So I'm giving it a face, and I'm giving it a face for the exact reason you're giving it a heel. I'm giving it a face because The Miz is one of the best on the mic. Cena is progressing so much better than he used to. I'm not sick of him like I used to be. The fact that Maurice, I love that she's in the match just to see her in the ring again. Nikki Bella, regardless of what you think, pretty damn good in the ring as well. The feud, it seems fresh. It seems like, Miz is...
The other girls carry her every match. I can prove it.
Well, anyway, the thing is, The Miz is easily one of the best characters on SmackDown. And I'll say this, I've always hated The Miz. He is doing something special right now.
I liked The Miz before this year.
I hated him before this year, so we are polar opposites, my friend. Guys,
beat
him up.
I would say face for the build-up and heel for the match. Is that allowed within the rules? Because the match is going to be like what you said.
I think it's just be Miz and Cena.
But the lead-up to it's good. Like, the comedy stuff they're doing and, like, the back and forth. I think The Miz is great on the mic. I think he's fantastic. I think what he's done with Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack has been some of the best stuff of his career. The lead-up's going to be great. It has been great. The match itself is going to stink. So I kind of pushed on that, but that's the truth.
Me?
He's falling asleep from the Miz talk.
Yeah, I'm not a big Miz fan. Heel.
Thank you, Tig.
He can't even get close to the mic for this.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got on SmackDown? We got Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose for the IC title. I'm giving it a heel because what are they doing with Dean Ambrose? He was the champion. He was a good champion. Now they're giving him the Intercontinental belt, and you know he's going to have to push Baron Corbin.
He was a good champion.
I thought he was a good champion. I'm actually sorry I couldn't line Vinny, but I'm going to go heel as well. But I'm glad they're making the IC thing a title, but I just don't get the Baron Corbin thing. I just don't.
For me, you know what? I agree with you guys. I didn't really understand the Corbin thing, but let me tell you this. Also at the TU, he got cheered.
Really?
He got cheered.
Really?
I'm going to go face because Corbin needs a belt. Corbin's going to win it. That's my opinion.
I agree with Vinny. I like Corbin. And I think he's
even though he's got a little slit of a belly button.
I think he's going to win the title.
No, I like Corbin, but my whole thing is they could have done something better with Dean.
Maybe, yeah.
See, I just think Dean, it's so tough because, like, he's endearing to the fans, but he's not. Like, fans love him, but they don't love him enough to keep him in that top spotlight. Dean's a tough one. Biggest pop of the night to you, but Corbin was getting cheered. Also, Miz did the Rick Rude line in that match because it was a triple threat. He said Albany sweat hogs.
You know, that just makes me hate him even more.
Everybody's booing him. He had him in the palm of his hands. I'm sitting there like, he's doing the Rick Rude trademark thingy.
That's not why they're booing him. They're not loving to hate him. They just
they didn't even know that it was Rick Rude.
All right, anyway, let's move on here. Now, next is AJ Styles, Shane McMahon. I am giving this one a heel because I think that they could find a better opponent for AJ Styles.
I agree 100%.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this almost like the same exact thing we had last year with Shane and Taker? You know, Shane still has it. He's going to do the elbow to the outside. It's like, okay, we've seen this before. We've seen Shane get thrown through glass. We've seen Shane jump and elbow something. But what we haven't seen yet is stuff like AJ Styles versus The Undertaker. AJ Styles versus, like, a handful of people that are in the WWE, and they're going to waste his second WrestleMania appearance on having him square off against Shane McMahon, and they're making him whiny. Was AJ always this whiny in TNA and New Japan? No. So they've taken AJ, and they've pretty much based his gimmick on his haircut. So I give it a heel.
Here's a question I have, and I know Finn's on Raw. This is my opinion on this, but I give it a heel because, yes, you're right. Styles should have a better opponent. I'm going to give the match, though, a face. I love watching Shane matches. You just don't know what's coming. But the thing is, back to my point, I had said Finn. Finn has returned on the house show loops.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Finn comes up to the main roster, has the confrontation with Styles immediately about the club, because they were both part of the Bullet Club. Wouldn't the best match you could give Styles if Finn is actually working house show loops, Finn Balor?
Yeah, it would have been. Here's the thing about the Shane thing, and I agree with you, Vinny, where I like Shane's good. I think AJ Styles is good. Of course, I agree with all you guys. He could have got a better opponent. But really look at that card real quick. If you had to talk about the match you're the most excited for, it's probably that one for me, believe it or not, because I like Styles and I like Shane.
You just want to see Shane get beat up.
Kind of, and I kind of want to see what Styles can do with Shane McMahon. I don't know another match in the card where I'm like, I can't wait, I got to watch this one. Like, what else in that card gets me excited besides this match and these two on a WrestleMania stage?
If Shane doesn't turn heel on that match or something, I'm going to keep it a heel because you know he's not going to win. Well, you know he's not going to win clean.
He's not. I think we're down to just the final one, right? Do we got one more to go? He agreed with you.
I agree with you 100%.
Well, actually, I accidentally missed one on Raw, and with good reason because no one thought it was going to happen until this past Raw, and that's Triple H versus Seth Rollins.
You're missing one other, by the way.
Which one?
Cruiserweight.
Oh, yeah. Well, all right. Let's do them both at the same time. Whoa. Ha, 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 ha. that kind of trickling over into some of the other wrestling news. But anyways, we're gonna do them at the same time here.
Oh boy!
And okay.
Oh boy! Oh, I got the reference.
I give Triple H, Seth Rollins a heel because pretty much so. In other words, what we're gonna get at WrestleMania is Triple H, a part-timer versus a injured Seth Rollins.
And Seth's going to go over, and that's why I give it a face.
Thanks for the thought. And Cruiserweight title match, I give that a face because I love the Cruiserweights, especially Neville and Austin Aries. Going to be an awesome match. That's going to be the show stealer, the showstopper match of the night, in my opinion.
Heel for the Triple H Rollins stuff. They don't need it. Just let him heal up. So blood. He hurt his knee. Do you need Triple H really to put Rollins over? I don't think so. I mean, he's already hot. People like him. People are fans of Seth Rollins. You don't need Triple H anymore. I like the Cruiserweights. I've always been a fan of them. I just have so many issues with how they're doing the Cruiserweight stuff right now. I'm going to go heel with the purple ropes and everything. I think Aries and those guys will be fine. Everybody in that match, Aries and Neville, they'll be fine. But I just don't like the Cruiserweight style they're doing right now.
For me, Rollins and Triple H, it's a match that's a couple years in the making. It was meant to happen last year. Does Rollins need it? No. Are they going to be able to do more with Rollins post to this? Yes. Because it's finally going to shed that Triple H weight that has been on his shoulders for how long? So that I give a face. Also, I feel the injury angle, if it's all work, I think it just adds so much more to the match. Cruiserweights, I'm going to give it a heel. I agree. Probably be the match of the night. I agree. It's going to be a good match on paper. Don't give Neville Aries just yet. Do a battle royal. Aries is the end goal for Neville. Neville should not drop that belt yet. Do a battle royal.
I think Neville's going to drop the belt, though.
And I don't think he should.
And,
not yet.
I'm a heel. I'm not into the Cruiserweights.
I'm not into what Raw's doing with
I'm
him.
a face for the Triple H Rollins thing. I just, you know where I'm at these days. I love my nostalgia, and at this point, I guess Triple H is nostalgia.
Now that the tag teaming is done.
All right. Now we're to the big ones, the two big ones,
the main events.
All right, let's start with the SmackDown one because apparently it's being advertised as the minor of the two. Although that's where the WWE Championship belt is at stake, and I'm gonna give this one. I didn't think I was gonna give this one a face, but I'm gonna give it a face. Although I thought that some of the promos were incredibly cheesy. I just love watching Randy Orton in the ring, and I like watching Bray Wyatt in the ring. I think that they're both brilliant wrestlers, and I think they're going to give us a very interesting, dramatic match. I think they're actually going to tell a story with their match, which is something that hasn't been done in a while in a main event match for the title. And I'm going to give it a face just because I like the guys. I like the guys involved.
I'm going to give it a heel, and I'm going to give it a heel for the reason that I don't think Orton needs to be in that spot. I also remember their match that they had. What was it? Backlash? Sucked.
Yeah.
That match sucked. They don't have a lot of chemistry in the ring now. Maybe it's getting better now.
Now, keep in mind what we're going to talk about next and how their last match went.
You're exactly you're exactly right, but I'm going to share my same opinion there too.
Okay.
I like Wyatt, and that's the other reason I give it a heel. I think he's not walking out with the belt. So there's another reason I say heel.
I want to go face. I like all the build up to this, everything that's happened. I like the promos. I think Orton and Wyatt, when you look back and like rivals, this is some of the best stuff they've ever done. Like both of them. This is the Viper, the heel Randy Orton, Wyatt doing all the weird stuff with the cult and Sister Abigail. It fits their characters. Telling the story, you're spot on with that, Dan America. Face all the way for me.
And this is a legacy rivalry going on right here, which is another cool thing. All right. I'm sorry, Tig.
No, that's right. I'll give it a face. I think it'll be a good match, but I'm with you on, you see, I'm not down with the cheesy promo stuff. I mean, Orton burning Bray Wyatt's house down. I mean, how old are we? 5 years old? I mean, we're going to really believe that was legit. But that kind of stuff annoys me. But I think it might be a decent match. Hopefully better than their last encounter.
But, kudos to Randy for not botching the burn down,
I don't know if they could have done that again.
Yeah. Well, that's the frightening part. He looked like he knew what he was doing, like he had done it before. Okay, now let's jump right to the big one, or at least what people consider to be the big one. We're talking about Goldberg versus Brock Brock Lesnar. I give this one a heel because I was never a big Goldberg fan. I was never a big Brock fan. And we've seen Goldberg in the ring twice so far, and he's done, 4 moves? Oh, what?
Spear, jackhammer. Yeah, that's about it.
Was he going to do a WrestleMania 3? Is that what we're waiting for? Is that the big build here? Is he going to do 3 moves instead of 2? I give it a heel because I don't think it should be for the title. It should be for something else.
Retirement.
They've been building, retirement. They've been building up this match since before Survivor Series because that was supposed to be the big Survivor Series match. And why couldn't they just have brought it up and ended it there? I don't know. I don't like anything about this.
I'm giving it a heel because if you're listening to this podcast, you know exactly where they're going with this match. You know exactly who's winning, and you know exactly how often that belt's going to be defended, and that's why I give it a heel.
That's Brock Lesnar, by the way.
Well, I think we should save our predictions for next week when we go into Mania.
It's Brock Lesnar. I'm heel as well. I want to know what people think about, like, younger wrestler fans who don't know about Brock and then also Goldberg. Like, if you're 10 years old watching me and you're like, who are these two? Like, where did they come from? They haven't been around anywhere. You were at WrestleMania 20. Mm-hmm. Vinny was there. Mm-hmm. Could you imagine if you got in a time machine and someone told Vinny like 13 years ago, hey, this match that they're booing the 2 guys out of Madison Square Garden, that's going to be the main event in 2017.
Yeah.
Wait,
I don't know what I would do.
What? That's what's happening in real life. Heel.
I'm Mr. Nostalgia. I'm going with a face.
Okay.
I like it. I love Brock. I like Goldberg. But here's the question: is Goldberg planning on sticking around after this, or is this a short-term thing?
That's a good question. I don't know.
That means he'd have to do 4 moves, so I don't know.
Because But here's something I've been thinking about for a while. I've been thinking about the possibility of Heyman turning on Lesnar at some point. You think that's a possibility?
I
thought that was going to happen at Survivor Series.
And if that would that happen during this match at Mania, or is there no reason for that?
I never thought about that. I was there when Heyman turned on Punk at Money in the Bank back in that August pay-per-view, but I don't know. Is that here's the other thing about WWE. Is that a WrestleMania moment? That's the weird thing, right? Like, is there going to have to be some weird finish here to make it a WrestleMania moment at the main event, which I don't know if we're thinking about now. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Well, that just reminded me. Did we miss is Sami Zayn taking on Joe at Mania?
Is that happening?
One?
I don't think so. It might be maybe an undercard. Maybe
is that actually happening?
That'll probably be the off television.
We're only talking about the ones that have been
Pre-show.
Established as to being on the card, and
even though it should be televised, it'll probably be. They wouldn't put that as an untelevised match, would they? I wouldn't put it past them.
Maybe, and we haven't even brought up Andre the Giant's Battle Royal. I think it's Braun, unless anyone else thinks something different.
It's got to be Braun. It's got to be Braun.
I think it's going to be a newcomer. Someone's going to come in and
Shinsuke.
Not Shinsuke. I think Shinsuke is going to come in on the Raw or the SmackDown after WrestleMania. But I think there's going to be some big surprise.
I think the big surprise is going to be a late entry. It's going to be Hulk Hogan.
Oh,
come on!
Hogan cashes in the Money in the Bank.
I think he's going to give the big boot to Braun Strowman and send them flying over the top rope. No?
Could you imagine if he came out at the end of? Can you imagine if it's Lesnar Goldberg? They're ready to like lock up, and it's Hogan's music.
Oh,
God. He would get.
I am telling you, I really think Hogan's going to come back at Mania. Wow. They've been showing him on the television again.
They have.
There's been rumors he's going to come back. I think Mania is the time to do it. And is Shawn Michaels going to be there?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Is he going to be?
I think Michaels is going to be there. He's definitely going to have something
some
to do
kind
with
of in-ring. Segment.
You know what? Let's do this. Let's talk more predictions next week on As the Heel Turns podcast. We're going to get less than 10 days away from WrestleMania. We'll be back next week with another list right here on As the Heel Turns podcast.
Tune in next week for another edition of As the Heel Turns.